It's about the view. It's like it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're honest scum.
What happens when a titan of daytime television, a voice that has shaped opinions and courted controversy for decades, suddenly finds their impenetrable fortress of authority besieged?
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show has? 31.
31 Emmys?
This show has 31. I mean, I'd hate to see the conversations that don't make headlines.
About the Emmys, Kat. Yes, thank you.
To see the conversations that don't make headlines. What?
And we don't have a single
Not a
Emmy.
single
we don't
one.
Have what does that tell you about the Emmys, Kat? Yes, thank you, Mr. Boo.
It was business as usual until Greg Gutfeld decided.
Not by scandal in the traditional sense, but by something far more insidious. A meticulous public dismantling, broadcast for all to see. 1 minute, she's the queen of the hot take. The next, the entire kingdom seems to be questioning the crown.
No, it's not about race.
No, it's about a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Yeah, that's heroically stupid. Even for The View. What did she think Hitler meant when he said master race? The 100-meter dash at the Berlin Olympics? So for the first time in The View's history, it's not about race. Just some whites exterminating 6 million other whites. So what's the big deal?
For years, Whoopi Goldberg, born Karen Elaine Johnson, has been more than just a co-host on The View. She's been an institution, a seemingly permanent fixture in the media landscape.
I just want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. She's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you like Instacart and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish, and I just want to hit myself in the...
Gutfeld didn't just mock Whoopi.
Perched at that famous table, she's dished out pronouncements on everything from politics to pop culture, often with an air of unshakable moral conviction that few dared to publicly challenge.
Ah, you look tantalizing. You know, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered.
3 years, that's when I discovered Instacart, and I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well, and it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable.
Her opinions, frequently controversial, like a shocking statement that the Holocaust wasn't about race, usually served to rally her supporters, or, at worst, created a temporary storm she could easily weather, solidifying her image of an almost bulletproof matriarch.
Kat, how many co-hosts has The View had since it first started? I've lost count. I don't know any of these people.
No, that's because they don't stick around long enough. There's been 17 since 1997. That's a lot. That's because they're women.
Oh, really?
Their hormones, they're changing their minds. I don't want to work here. Yes, I do. That's why. Women are always changing jobs every day.
Wow,
I just quit.
Direct mail to Catherine Timpf. Not me. I disavow everything she just said.
But then, the first tremors began, not with a thunderous roar, but with the quiet, unnerving precision of a surgeon. Greg Gutfeld, from his own corner of the media world, began to dissect the public pronouncements of The View, and Whoopi in particular.
Their brains are small. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sonny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter.
His approach wasn't about matching her volume or emotional intensity. Instead, he reportedly armed himself with cold, hard logic, using her own past statements to expose what he framed as glaring inconsistencies.
Step it up a little bit.
I was so shocked that she answered that way. That she said there's nothing she'd do differently. And then in case there's any questions, for her to say, by the way, I was involved in all of it.
Yeah.
But then you're running as the opposition. That would have been so easy to just say, there's so much I could change and I can't wait to change. It's not like they're going to ask you, what would you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're actually going to be pressed on specifics in that interview. I mean, the way that Whoopi was looking at her.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was sexual.
It was very Hallmark Christmas Channel.
Yes.
Imagine a chess master calmly making moves, each one designed to corner the queen. He highlighted the stark contrast between her calls for understanding in some instances, and her swift, seemingly unwavering condemnation in others.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City. Thanks to liberal privilege, Whoopi hangs on, which is fine since she apologized, but not before digging an even deeper hole than the one in her head.
This calm, almost surgical dismantling of arguments, when juxtaposed with the often passionate and righteous fury seen on The View, started to create a compelling narrative of hypocrisy that resonated with many. It was less an attack and more an audit, and the numbers Gutfeld implied just weren't adding up. If Gutfeld was the architect of logic, Kat Timpf arrived on the scene wielding a sarcastic sledgehammer, wrapped in a disarmingly witty package, ready to chip away at the facade from a different angle. With her signature blend of sharp humour and a fiercely libertarian disdain for what she often portrays as establishment pretense, Timpf took aim at a different, yet equally critical aspect of Whoopi's public image: the perceived paradox of elite victimhood. She reportedly zeroed in on multi-millionaire media figures, buffered by fame and fortune, simultaneously claiming a kind of victim status. Timpf's critiques, laced with biting sarcasm, questioned the authenticity of outrage emanating from such insulated pedestals, hitting directly at the perceived sanctimony. The combined effect of Gutfeld's calculated logic and Timpf's scathing wit wasn't a direct confrontation in a shared studio. It was a pincer movement, executed from their respective platforms, that seemed to unravel the very fabric of her public persona.